Hello, 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 and today is October 12th, 2016, and I figured it was about time, after about a month, to do another state of the channel update. I really like doing these. I like being able to keep people in the loop, tell people how things are going, tell people, kind of give everybody a quick update on what's going on, what's in the works, what I'm doing, what I'm planning on doing, things like that. First of all, thank you everyone for 3,200 subscribers. That's amazing. It's shocking to me. 3,200 subs is a lot of subs. That's a lot to me anyway. And I'm really thankful for everybody for that. So thank you again for all the support. And while we're talking on the support, thank you to everyone who watches my videos, who shares my videos, and indeed who pays for the videos that I put out for money. I have been dealing a little more. My goal is still to produce equal amounts of free and paid content. My original goal was to produce one a week of each, and I've produced well over that. I've produced well over that in sort of my zeal, I guess. It's an interesting thing because a lot of it comes down to my ideal and what I'm able to do. People go, one of the things that I've dealt with recently, with a lot of comments and talking with people privately and other things like that, is this idea that the only quote unquote, I hear this a lot, the only quote unquote good videos that I'm producing are paid videos, which isn't the case, at least in my opinion. And the reason is because I try to produce all of my videos, paid or not paid, at the same level of quality. The reason I produce a video or make a video paid or free comes down to the content of the video and the rules on YouTube, mostly. Some of you have noticed that I've produced a lot more content that I otherwise would not have produced free, like half a year ago. And the reason is because YouTube is an interesting beast, I guess would be the way to put it. The best way to put it is, YouTube does this thing now. YouTube came out recently with this whole, advertiser-friendly thing. But it's more along the lines of, the bigger problem is that under YouTube's system, you can set a file to be for adults only. The problem is that you don't make advertising money on that, and it also doesn't show up in search results as much. So just producing videos like that would not make a whole lot of sense because people wouldn't be able to find them, and even when they did be able to find them, I wouldn't get anything from them. Not to mention with the way YouTube is now doing this advertising friendly thing, videos of mine have been flagged, and while I've challenged them successfully, point being of it's a problem, and it's a problem looking forward and thinking about, what's best and what's going to do. One thing that I noted, and one thing that I've noted a lot, is people still seem to be confused about why a video is paid. Well, the reason is that YouTube has very different rules depending on whether or not a video is free or whether or not it's paid. Free videos are at the mercy, essentially, of advertisers. They are at the mercy of, whether or not YouTube thinks they can market stuff through your content. Whereas paid videos do not have those restrictions. In fact, I'm based on the fact that every paid video has to be given a rating. Either YouTube will give it a rating on its own, or you have to set the rating when you make it or when you upload it. Generally, I only give my videos light sexual content as the only triggering topic, and there's a bunch of other ones that come up, whether it's foul language, nudity, things like that. So as long as you're not uploading hardcore porn onto YouTube, the paid system basically lets you get away with anything. They will accept letting you do everything, which is good because it means that I can produce a wider variety of content under that banner. But one thing that annoys me, and I think that one thing that bothers me about YouTube system, is that I can only set one way of purchasing content under YouTube. What I mean by that is YouTube gives you two options. You can either do rentals or you can do paid, which means you sell the file and you have to keep the file up forever, or you do it via the rental system, in which case you pay a certain amount of money and you get it for either 48 or 72 hours. Um, and one of the problems with that is that what I'd like is, ideally, what would be great is if I could do both, and that way I could set like a rental for like 72 hours of like 99 cents. And that way people can be like, do I like this file enough to buy it all forever, or do I like it enough just to rent it once and try it? Because $1's not that much of a, not that much of a, what you set it as, I guess an investment. I mean, I've spent $1 on worse things. So, like, ideally what I would have liked would be like being able to say, okay, it's 99 cents for 72 hours, or you could pay $4.99 and get it forever. So videos that you're going to listen to a lot would be able to, videos that you listen to a lot would be able to, you'd be able to get forever, or if you just want to listen once, you could just pay for that and have it on rental, essentially. And I kind of wish I could do both, but I can't. It doesn't let you do that. Yes, it makes you choose one or the other. And so usually so far I felt that it was kind of like morally wrong to just do it on rentals, because I kind of felt that making people pay every 72 hours, which is every 3 days, for a video seems kind of dumb. And the only reason I would do that is if, was if I could get both that and paid, because I don't want people to be forced to rent or be forced to buy. I would have liked options, but YouTube's not very good with options, so it is what it is. So yeah, there's that. And thank you for everybody who supported me in that. I should point out I don't expect people to buy all of my videos. That's why I produce such a wide variety, or I try to. I don't want to give this impression that I only want to, I want people to only do that and that's all I care about, because it's not. I care about my free videos as well, which is why, I'm trying to produce equal amounts of both. But one of the big, I guess, difficulties for me is that I've kind of set a bar for myself. I've set a goal of what I'd like to be able to accomplish, and then I'm trying to exceed that goal. So at the moment, like last month, my goal was to not destroy my channel by doing this, which it hasn't. In fact, my channel's actually ahead of where it was, which is great. One of the things that was curious to me, well, when I started my channel was, or when I started doing paid content is that the day I announced I was going to do paid content, I lost like 60 subscribers. And I expected that. I kind of expected people would be turned off by this idea. And I would just say, no, because making anyone pay for something that was free before is difficult. See newspapers, cable, anything like that, phones, things that at one time were free are now you ask people to pay for it. There's going to be some struggle there. And thus, that's why when I said I wanted to do paid content, it wasn't me making free content, paid content. It was me making content that I wouldn't have made otherwise, whether it was because of content in the videos or whether or not it was something that I couldn't ethically make free, such as like financial domination videos. I couldn't make those free. It's not ethical in my mind to do it that way. So it looked to me like a good way to do it and both support the channel, support myself, and kind of go that way. And in all honesty, with your support, I've done pretty well the first month. I'm legally not allowed to tell you how much I've made, because I will put it this way. I made more last month, the videos I made, than I have in the entire length of the channel on advertising money. So, in that regard, the support is insane, and I love it, and I'm so thankful for it because it means I can keep doing it. But when I say that, I'm not trying to obligate people. I don't want people to feel like, oh, I have to buy every video, oh, I have to do this. That's not the case at all. That's why I make such a wide variety. Why I'm trying to make a large swath of things to do so that people can pick and choose what they want. It's why I didn't want to go the Patreon route. It's why I didn't want to go, I didn't want to use GoFundMe or any of these other sites. I wanted people to, in my mind, the way it works is I sell you a product. So I produce a product, you buy the product, and then it's an exchange. That's how I see it. I don't really want this to be I don't really want to base other people's idea on funding me. Like, I don't want them to be like, here, have money for yourself. I want them to be like, okay, I want to put money towards, I want to put money out and get something back. That's how I see it. And so it's important to me to produce quality content across the board. It's important to me to make sure people get their money's worth, because obviously people who buy files and are then happy with what they have are then more inclined to do than to buy more, because they want to support that kind of thing. That's how I judge things. It's sort of how I judge whether or not I want to continue doing something, or whether or not something is working or not working. Is with viewership, it's one thing, because that's one way to judge free content. It's viewership and ratings. With paid content, it all comes down to how many people buy things versus how many people buy other things of the same kind. And so it comes to, it's an interesting little balance of figuring things out. And again, the support has been insane, and I've been so thankful that so many people have done so much for me. I've had a few people ask me, they say, hey, why don't you use PayPal? Why don't you use, why don't you, sell it through yourself if you're not happy with YouTube? And the reason is because of things, it's really because of, what it really comes down to is protection for myself. And what does that mean? Well, if I had used, say, PayPal, one of the big problems with PayPal is PayPal doesn't grant you any sort of protection against things like chargebacks. And for those of you who don't know, one of the most common things to do with, whether it be in any form of online sales, whether you're doing it through Etsy or eBay or what have you, and I've done all of these things over the years, one of the things that happens is people will pay for something on a credit card, and then they will then call their credit card company and say, cancel this transaction. So what that does is essentially, you've already gotten the file, or you've already gotten the item in question that you've bought. But now your credit card company is telling PayPal, or it's telling whatever other company you've bought it through, that the transaction is not legal and not valid. And what that ends up doing is it ends up making the person who then puts the liability away from the person who made the charge. The liability is not on them. The liability is on the seller. So, say for example, I sell a file and I do it through PayPal. So I sell the file, I send it to you, and you call your credit card company and they tell PayPal, okay, this charge is not valid. So what PayPal does is they rescind the funds from your PayPal account, and they say this money is no longer valid. But in doing so, I still pay all of the fees on the money as though it went through, and I also pay all the money on the fees as though, I also pay all the money on the fees as they took it out. So I pay basically double fees. And when you do it through PayPal, PayPal leaves it to you. So it would fall to me as the seller, as the proprietor, to then challenge this, which would require me to go through litigation, which would require me to, it would require me to hire a lawyer and seek things out, and I don't want to deal with that. If it happens too often, you end up with a situation where PayPal censures your account or closes your account, and then you're screwed. So one of the benefits of doing it through Google, or doing it through other companies, whether you do it through like recently Amazon, who bought Twitch, introduced a system like this through their bit system. It's a good example of this. But Google has their own system where you don't pay to me directly. You buy things through Google, which means when it comes down to things like chargebacks and stolen credit cards or things like that, all of that goes through Google, which means if you do a charge, if somebody does a chargeback, or somebody uses a stolen credit card or what have you, all of that risk is on Google, and Google then has to, Google doesn't screw me, the guy who got paid. I'm still getting paid. Google's then going to come after, then deals with that and tries to figure that out, which is protection for me, the person selling things, which is good, because the last thing it would be rather than risking everything and risking, say, a livelihood or risking the ability to continue making stuff because of this kind of activity, which again is not something I expect anyone to do, but I've already had a couple of them. So it's not something that I expect or even accuse anyone of doing. It's not like that. It's just, it exists, it happens, and when it comes down to it, which is more secure for me, which is why I like doing things through Google, or why I like doing things through Clips for Sale, even though I have my own problems with Clips for Sale, mostly because of their minimal prices. I do have a problem with that, because they're way higher than what I want to sell my files for. But they do offer me protection against things like this, protection from consumer fraud, protection from people stealing credit card numbers and things like that. So it's not ideal, but it's better than the alternatives in my mind. And so I kind of want to bring people into the way I think of things and the way I sit down and try and understand what I do before I do it. Because I never make an action before, I never take any action before thinking all the things through. I am working on getting a limited liability company, which is a good thing, because the last thing I want is somebody suing me and being liable for everything. That would be bad. But what I would like, my ideal, the goal of this channel for this month is to do as good as I did last month. That's going to be my goal, because I did okay, and that was good, and I'm insanely thankful for the support. And I still want to do better. That's not in terms of money. I still want to put out more content that makes people happy. The way I see it is this. I don't see this. A lot of people go into this with the mindset of, okay, we're going to make, I'm going to make content and make money that way, and I'm going to judge my worth or how good I'm doing based on how much money I'm making, which is not the case at all. Because the way I see it is that happy people are more willing to buy things. I see this as entertainment, which means that if I'm producing good quality stuff and people enjoy it, they're going to be more likely to do it again. That's the goal. The goal is to produce things that people like, that make people happy, that makes them enjoy what they're doing. And that, in turn, will then make them more inclined to then buy more later. They don't have to, but it's the kind of thing where if I said, okay, I like this, you sort of build a brand loyalty. You start building a consumer base. You start building something where you're producing something that know it's going to be good. People know they're going to like it before they try it. They don't need to sit down and go, am I going to like this or not? They go, okay, I like this, it's good, here's what I want to see again. And more than that, when it comes to other people, I love requests. I've done this since the beginning. I've said I want to build this entire channel on requests and on what people have asked me to build. And most of my paid videos are all requests. All of them are basically requests that people have given me over the year. So my goal is not necessarily to make more money. My goal is, more money is nice, let's get me wrong. I would love to be able to continue to pay my bills. That's what I'd like. But knowing that, my goal is to instead, I'm not judging it by that. I'm judging it by how many people are happy based on what I'm doing. Because happy people tell people about their stuff. Word of mouth is the strongest form of advertising there is. Could I take money and spend money on advertising? I could, but why? The thing about what I do and the communities that I do things for is people talk to each other and they say, hey, this was good, you should try it. And then they do, and then that builds, that extends. It's a web, it's a network, and it works. And it's worked so far. And I really like it. I like being able to make people happy. That's the best feeling on the planet, is somebody coming to you and being like, man, I just listened to this, it was the greatest thing ever, it's perfect, this is what I want more of this. That's the best feeling. And what I think I'm worried about most of all is oversaturation. My biggest worry is I'm going to oversaturate what I'm doing. Or I'm going to run out of ideas because people are satisfied and I've already done everything. I don't want to do that. I'm also kind of worried about having only one avenue of attack. That's one thing I don't like. I like to be able to diversify, which is why I try to make both paid and free videos on a wide variety of topics, on a wide variety of, I guess you would say kinks for people, things like that, a wide variety of those, because it means that I'm not just going to one well over and over again, which will eventually dry up. That's how that kind of thing works. Oversaturation is a problem. In the future, what I'm thinking of, if it ever happens, and at the moment I don't know if it ever will, the ideal would be for me, at least for doing YouTube stuff, is to continue doing audio files. That's my goal. When it comes to clips for sale, maybe in the future I found that I think what I would rather do on clips for sale would be producing like people doing reactions. Like if I could, I would hire, I'd hire models, or I'd hire people, like just normal people, to do that kind of thing, and I would sell it there. But it wouldn't be on this channel, because I really want to keep this channel as audio files only. Because the fact of the matter is, the people who like audio files and the people who like watching other people being hypnotized are two separate groups within the community, I think. Because there's a lot more people who like to watch other people do things than there are listening to audio files. But this channel, and the way I'm marketing this channel, and the way I'm going to continue doing it for this channel, is audio files. So if I do eventually decide, I want to get, people either recording that, and I want to be able to pay them, things like that, I would rather do that on clips for sale as opposed to here. That's the goal. Because I feel like diversifying is the best way. I feel like doing both is far better than only doing one. Things like that. Now, in terms of what I'm doing in my personal life, things like that, I mentioned this on Twitter like a week ago. And a week ago my aunt died, and I had to go to rural Tennessee to go to her funeral. And that sort of threw my plans and everything into a mess, because my aunt passed away. And that was sad, and we did everything for it, but it sort of threw me off track, and I've been a little, last 5 days, I've been a little out of it, and trying to scramble to get everything together, because I need new health insurance, things like that, I need car insurance, things like that. So it's been a little messy. Hopefully going to get back on track. I've also kind of tossed around the idea of doing a podcast. Tossed around the idea of, maybe doing, just kind of like a random podcast or something, like a history-based podcast, because that's what my degree was in. That's what I got my college degree in. Didn't help me get a job, obviously, but there's a lot of, I have passion for it. Not as much passion as I have for this, but I have passion for it, and it might be kind of fun to do that once in a while. I've also mentioned I had a gaming channel, kind of a side thing that I don't really do very much with it. And part of the problem is that when I do videos and I talk for a long time, it kills my throat. And so it just kind of became way too much to try and do, continually doing gaming videos versus doing videos like this. Because I break them up into sections, basically, when I record. So I record page by page as opposed to trying to do it all at one go. And it's fun, don't get me wrong, but I just don't know what to do with it, honestly, that kind of thing. It's kind of like how I tried streaming for 2 months, way back when, over a year ago. And the hardest problem was sitting around, being on camera for 6 hours, trying to keep your voice from dying every day. I don't know how people talk for hours and hours and hours, and their voice just doesn't give out. I don't know how they do it. I talk for 20 minutes. I've talked for 23 minutes, and my throat, or almost 24 minutes now, and my throat is already killing me. So, that kind of thing, just ideas that have popped out of my head that have gone, okay, how can I diversify what I'm doing? How can I continue to improve what I'm doing? How can I look at what I'm doing and go, yes, this is what I want to do? You know what I mean? How can I make people happy? How can I provide more stuff for them? Because, again, I don't see this as people supporting me directly. I don't see this as asking for money, because I'm not. My thing is if you like something and you want to see more of it, then your support means everything. Because I'm giving you a product. It's not up to you to support me in making products. It's up to me to provide products that are worth your money. That's what I see it as. I don't like this idea that it's up to other people to keep me going. That's not how I see it. The way I see it is, it's up to me to create things that people want to see more of. That's how I see it. I see myself as a seller, and if you sell a good product, people should, in theory, want to buy it. And so if you sell a good product and you make people satisfied, and they say, yes, this is what we want, this is good, this is what we want more of, good things happen. That's how I see it. Now, overall, I've done pretty well so far, but that's only the first month, and the first month is not the hardest month. Well, it is hard, but it's harder to maintain. It's sort of the idea that, conquest is easier than rulership, as it were, in the sense that it's easier to start something than it is to maintain it. It's easier to, whether it's the restaurant industry or computer industry or, selling stuff on eBay, it doesn't matter what it is. It's so much easier to start than it is to maintain, because it's such a volatile industry. And as the holidays come up, people have less spending income and everything else. It becomes a bigger challenge. So it's on me, not you, it's on me to produce things that people say, yes, this is worth doing. That's what I like to see. That's what I want to see. That's what I'm going to do. So that's just kind of been what's been on my mind when I'm thinking about how I've viewed things, how I've been looking at things, things like that. That's just kind of been it's just kind of been me in a nutshell lately. So I kind of want to give everybody sort of an October overview, what I'm thinking of, things like that. If I put this, I don't know if I'll do a Halloween video. I mean, I'm producing a video that should be up today, probably sometime. Might already be up by the time I'm done recording this. That was a bit Halloween themed. Somebody requested it. So we'll see. We'll see if I do another Halloween themed video. I don't know what kind. Other things that are in the works. People have asked me to make sort of like a work-esque video. It makes things easier for them to do work and things like that. I'll probably do that. What else have I been asked to do? Might make another hallucination transformation video coming up pretty soon. In terms of paid content, I have one request that's on the books right now that I need to make. From the same person who keeps requesting, who's been requesting lots of the other sort of weight gain videos. And I'm so thankful for them, because they've supported me so much, and they give me a ton of requests. So, honestly, if you like what I'm doing, give me requests. It'll probably end up being done. With few exceptions. But I've talked for way too long. It's been almost 28 minutes. It's way too long to be talking like this. So thank you, everybody. If I don't make another vlog before Halloween, happy Halloween. And just thank you again for all the support. Thank you for everything that you've all done for me. Thank you for watching my videos, sharing my videos, liking my videos, telling people about what I do. It means more to me than you can understand. So thank you all so much. Have a good Halloween. Have a good the rest of October. And, thank you so much.